Headliners. There's a lot of you don't know about the fantasy headliners. Nation. Headliner Nation. Fantasy headliners for the nation. I'm a headliner. I'm a headliner.
Yeah. Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. Y'all stuck on third down. Your content's plain Jane. Headliners on top now. We gonna move and change. Podcast off the rip. Draft guide, so legit. Fantasy world, our game tight. You know we about that chub life. Stuck in a rut and you need some motivation. Head to the channel for this Headliner Nation.
I'm a headliner. I'm a headliner. I'm a headliner. I'm a headliner. I'm a headliner.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? It is time to just kick back, relax, enjoy your lunch break, and just have a good time talking about whatever you want to talk about. Give it a few minutes, let some people hop here in the chat. I already see somebody in the chat just trying to bring down the vibe. And I ain't about that. You're going to come in here with any type of negativity, as far as I'm concerned, you can go pound sand. So I'm not putting up with any of that crap. It's a great, beautiful day. It's sunny outside. It's been raining for days. So I'm glad to see some sun outside. Looking forward to having a good time. How is everybody's day? What is today? Today is Tuesday. No Kyle. Kyle is on vacation, which means I'm having to do everything, which I know is not that big of a surprise. But still, looking forward to hanging out with you guys. Doing good? Ali Baba, your day is good? Perfect. Peter, what's for lunch? What are we eating today? What are we eating? Come on, I didn't get like this by not eating. I need to know what's good today. It's raining and cloudy, so it's my type of day. I love the rain, and trust me, I grew up in Arizona, so like we didn't get a whole lot of rain, so I love the rain, but every once in a while I would like some sun. So we got it today, so the window is open. I'm enjoying it. What else we got? Still breakfast time there? That's okay. Breakfast is still all right. You can have breakfast any time of the day. Tim, I have breakfast for dinner all the time. Why do you think fantasy football is slowly turning away from RB anchoring? I mean, the game is going to be different every single year, right? It doesn't just mean that it's turning away from it. The biggest issue, Michael, and it's not really an issue, we're going to have more available, startable running backs in 2023 than we've had in fantasy football in quite some time. Everything was going committee for so long that there were very few guys. But now all of a sudden we have the likes of Kenneth Walker and Travis Etienne, guys like that are popping up. We'll have Bijan Robinson, I'm sure, somewhere this year as well, that they're going to be more workhorse type guys that is just making the pool a little bit stronger. And fantasy football is definitely supply and demand, right? When the supply is low on running backs, the demand's going to be higher. Once the supply catches up, the demand's not as high, and then all of a sudden we can be a little bit more balanced. So that's what I see here coming up. A sandwich and mac and cheese. I like mac and cheese. I'm in North Carolina, Lorenzo. North Carolina. Just had chicken and bacon pasta for tea? You had it for tea? Like you blended that crap up and then you drank it? That's disgusting. Had some soup today. Liking some soup. Thoughts on Purdy and Dynasty? Hold, sell if I have Lance. Nick, being that you have Lance, it's not bad to hold on to him because obviously it's almost plug and play in San Francisco. Whoever's going to be the guy is going to score fantasy points. I know Brock Purdy is like bonkers right now, and everybody is losing their damn mind. And if he wins the Super Bowl, more than likely I see him being the week 1 starter. If he doesn't win the Super Bowl, which I know is like a huge task to ask of this kid, I still think they give Trey Lance a shot to start the season, but his leash is going to be very short. The only way that could change really is if somebody comes and just brings them a crazy, ridiculous offer for Trey Lance. But they're not just going to say, you know what, Trey Lance has been real, we're done with you. Like, they're not just going to give up on him being what they had to do to get him in the first place and not really been able to see what he can really do. Remember the beginning of this year, he had to play in like a hurricane in Chicago, then he gets hurt. It's a very small sample size. Oh no, it's tea time. I gotcha. I talk Purdy to me. Paul, it's a family show, Paul. 37 and sunny in Northwest Illinois. Ham and cheese, tomato, basil wrap. All right. Me and Kyle are going to be in Illinois the end of February. I don't know where the University of Illinois is. What is that, Champaign? Me and Kyle are going to be there the end of February. We're speaking at a business conference. A digital business conference. If you're anywhere near there, maybe we could have lunch or something. I'm just saying, maybe we'll put together some type of meetup. I don't know who's all in Illinois. You think they're going to trade Lance? I think it's a possibility. And it all depends what somebody wants to pay for it, right? They're not just going to give him away for nothing. But was Josh Jacobs a one-season wonder? Kinda. To that level. I mean, I don't know if we can expect that type of production. But he's been a solid running back for years, right? The biggest issue with him now is he's a free agent. Like, where's he going to play? Is he going to go back to Las Vegas and continue there? If he does, I think that he has another opportunity to have a solid year, depending what they do at quarterback. If he goes somewhere else, is he going to be a part of a committee, or is he going to have the backfield to himself? That's part of the issues there with Josh Jacobs. We just don't really know what's in store for him for the next few weeks, few months. Deshaun, you didn't hardly miss anything. We're just in here chilling. Deshaun, like, literally, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, but I don't know if you guys have realized or not. Not a lot of people really are consuming a lot of football content right now. And we can definitely see that happens every year with the views. But like, I want to just hang out with the people. We miss y'all. I mean, me and Kyle don't just do this to look at ourselves and look damn fancy on camera. No, we're doing it to hang out with the people. Google says now is a good time to insert ads. Would you like to insert an ad now? No, I would not. How's Mahomes' ankle? He's going to play, but he's not going to be as mobile as he usually is. Those rollouts that we see Mahomes go out there and just magically make something happen may not be the case this week. Fantasy burnout is real. I get that for sure. Tell me about it. Like, I talked about it like 15 times a week for 7 months. You know what I mean? So yeah, I 100% agree with that. And that's why I'm kind of not just doing something topic based for this one. We're just hanging out as a community, because it does happen. Yeah, everybody gets burnt out, but I think it's just how much do you really put into it? I think here's a discussion. Let me ask you guys a question, because this is kind of what I see from my perspective. And maybe it's just me from the outside looking in, but I feel like a lot more people are a lot more emotional now about fantasy football than it has been maybe even the last 2 or 3 years. I think people expect to win 100% of their game. Not all people, but there's a lot more than usual that expect to win all of their games. And if they don't, it's like the world has ended and they hate their life. And that's just not what it's supposed to be about. And that's why we try to make sure we always keep it, lighthearted and fun, because this is a game meant to be fun and really enjoy and get better at and find ways to exceed expectations and to walk away with. Tim, it's still here because I'm waiting on the signed mini helmets. It's because you want to walk away with like championship rings and stuff like that. Like, that's why. I mean, it's all for fun. And when you have a good time with it, the emotions aren't as heavy. Tim says he had family arguing over it. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You won the championship, so it's mentally exhausting. Yes, for sure. Who do I think will win this week? I'm actually doing the playoff videos this week since Kyle is out of town. They'll drop tomorrow, and it'll have my predictions in there. I agree. That's 100% a great comment right there, Nick. I think people are betting more money, so when they lose, it hurts more. I think a lot of people are starting to play fantasy football for the money, other than playing it for the game and the fun. I agree with that for sure. That's why you don't bet what you can't afford to lose. It depends who you're losing to. Okay, I get that too, ambiguity. There's a few times you lose to somebody, right? There's no way that I just lost to that dude. I get that. What are realistic expectations for Javonte Williams in year one back from his ACL? Limited, right? I mean, we're looking for 1,000 total yards, more than likely. 800 on the ground, 250 or so through the air. Who's going to be the head coach in Denver? What is that offense going to look like? Can Russell take another step forward? Does the offensive line get pieced back together? There's a lot of questions there. He's going to have a crack at it, right? I mean, he's too good not to. But I don't know if we're going to go out there and just go balls to the wall with Williams until we kind of let him have an opportunity. He's probably going to start slow. More than likely, he's going to start slow in fantasy football. I tell you, I love just being here because y'all so chill about it. Dang right. That's what I'm talking about. And we admit our mistakes. We always do, right? Every single week. Nobody is 100% correct. Nobody has the secret sauce to fantasy football. People will go out there and make statements that like act like they know what's going to happen. Shut up. No, you don't. I have done this game. I have played fantasy football I'm going into year 23. I started in year 2000. 23 years almost of playing this game. I do it as a job. Like, this is what I do for a living. This is how I produce for my family. There is no secret to winning. It's about doing your research, putting yourself in a position to win. It's not like there's like, oh, you should do this and you're a winner. Like, shut up. People out there just used car salesmen and you trying to get you to believe in what they do. It's just not the way it is. Timo says, I live in Nevada, so I'm used to losing money. Okay, Timo, I can't argue with that. OEG says, if y'all haven't ordered the 2023 draft guide, please do so. It's a great investment. I appreciate that. We put a lot into our draft guide. A lot of time. We're actually going to switch up the draft guide a little bit this year, OEG. I get that a lot of people don't like to read much anymore. They just want to like a video style, audio style. They just want to hear it. They want to be told it. So a lot of our draft guide this year is all going to be video based. Inside the same draft guide, the same process, still go to our website, and we'll still have a lot of rankings and all kinds of stuff, but a lot of the stuff is going to be video-based to make it more interactive and visual. I appreciate you, Walter John. Said it was a game changer. What do I do outside of fantasy football? I have 2 kids, so there's a lot of... I play Uber a lot, I guess you could say. I'm always driving to some soccer practice or soccer tournament or game or something. Honestly though, I am in my office every single day of the year. Like, I do this a lot. There's a lot more that goes into this than just making the videos, the behind the scenes, like running a business type stuff that I didn't realize was going to be a part of this. That's still a big time consumer. The last few weeks I have been on a ridiculous amount of phone calls and email strings about 2023 potential sponsorships from other people. That's been very time consuming. That's a huge deal, right? I don't have to just worry about myself and my family. I have guys that I pay for this, right? Nobody does anything here for free. Like the doc, the lone boner, Matt Galloway. We know Kyle's full-time, Taylor's full-time. Like, I have to make sure that I have a way to provide for those guys. So, I mean, that's my biggest thing. That's my biggest thought process, is making sure I always have something put together to where everybody's taken care of. How do I feel about the offseason, Michael? Okay, let me put it this way. I love the offseason. I'm talking about, I like the offseason more than I like the regular season. But I'll tell you for this reason. In the regular season for 18 weeks, I feel like it's Groundhog Day every week. And I'm talking about the same topics on the same days about the same players. Because it's repetitive, right? You got waiver wires, you got start sits, you got rankings, you got the tailgate show, you got the injury show. I mean, all that stuff is just in order every single day. And it kind of takes away some of the creativity that my mind likes to go to. I like to dive into numbers. I like to go figure things out, and I like to try to find little hidden stats and stuff. I can do that in the off season. I can't do that in season as much. So I love the off season, but I would be lying to you if I didn't say, like, right now, this time of year, full disclosure, view-wise, we don't make crap on YouTube. Like nothing. So like, we have to make sure that we want to still put out at least 3 videos a week, knowing that they're probably not going to get hit very much. They'd get a lot more views if we dropped them in August, but we're not about to take a few months off. Oh yeah, Mark, we're not getting rid of the text. We're just adding more video. There's less people on the team this year, right? We only got 5 people total. So writing takes a little bit longer. So we'll have a lot of the writing in there, but some of the sections, just some of the individual sections will be replaced by a video or an audio file, something like that you can consume in other ways. But I'm almost positive, and I don't know if I should be saying this because I don't even know if this is finalized yet. We talked about having it to where if it's a video, we'll have it transcribed and the text will be below it. So you can either choose to watch the video or read the text. It's kind of how it's going to be, where it'll be automatically transcribed. Look what we got here. A American legend. Nick! Lit Nick in the house. What is going on, Nick? How we doing out there? I don't share your content for competitive advantage, which is why I put my money where my mouth is. I love supporting you guys, Deshaun. Hey, man, I appreciate it, right? We don't ever ask anybody or demand anybody do anything, but we hear that quite a bit, that we don't have people sharing stuff because they don't want people to find out, and that's cool. I get it. I mean, as long as y'all are here, that's what's most important to me. Community first. That's how it's always going to be over here. Look at that, Dark Desmond gifting a membership. Continuing the streak. Have you kept track? Timo got it. Look at Timo. Have we kept track? I mean, I know Kyle mentioned this, I believe in last week's. How many straight live streams have you gifted a membership now? It's got to be 6, 7, maybe more? Geez, I don't even know. I mean, the season seems like so long ago. What happens when you gift a membership when they are a member? It won't gift a membership to somebody who's already a member. The way that YouTube selects who gets it, it's based off who interacts with the channel the most, who's commenting in the live stream, who's liking the videos, and then if they're in the chat at that time, YouTube looks at all that and they give it to it. Timo is probably, if I had to guess, I would say 8 out of 10 times. 8 out of 10 videos, Timo is the very first person to comment on every one of our videos. Almost all the time. He was our overall winner in our Headliner VIP League, too. So, I mean, he's definitely involved in the community, for sure. Headliners are strong this offseason, legit. I only play video games with homies from Headliner Nation so far. I mean, that's what it's about, right? I mean, we could all sit back here on our high horse and act like we're something special. But when the reality of it is, we're all just a bunch of basic dudes like you guys are. I would say we're a bunch of basic dudes and gals, but I'm not. So, I mean, we're all the same, right? I'm not going to sit up here and dress in fancy clothes and just act like I'm some professional hotshot because I'm a YouTuber. That's not my style. You're lucky I got shorts on today, right? Like, that's just me. I'm just being real. If you meet me in public, and I don't know if anybody in the chat right now has hung out with us or not before, we're the same way in person. Like, there's nothing that changes. We're just a bunch of dudes trying to have some fun, build a community around positivity and football. This is not members only. No, this is not members only. This is for everybody right now. It's just most of the people right now in the chat are members, but it's open to the public. I appreciate you, Lorenzo, saying he loves the community. Ramiro, what's going on, my friend? I know I've missed a few live streams. Can't wait to dono more gifts soon. Nick, you are a legend for what you did regular season. You don't need to feel like you need to do it all the time. Smash the like button. What up, Jake? Terry, Hudak, Terry in this chat. That's what I'm talking about. Little off-season Terry. You got to do a suit stream with the Headliners crew. I mean, I don't... Okay. let's do some honesty here. If I'm being completely honest, I haven't worn a pair of pants. Now, obviously, I wear shorts, but I haven't worn a pair of pants since the NFL Combine in Indianapolis in 2020, February of 2020. It's the last time I wore a pair of long pants. I don't care if it's 20 degrees outside. I'm in shorts. Like, that's just the way it is. Here's another fun fact. I was in the Baja 500 a long time ago, and we wrecked, and we hit a tree in the middle of the desert, the biggest damn tree in the middle of Mexico, hit it going about 85 miles an hour, and the sheet metal dash went into both of my shins, and both of my shins are numb because of it. I had to go to a Mexican hospital. It was an experience, but yeah, so both my shins are numb. I got these big old scars on my legs. Do you think Lamar leaves Baltimore? Callie, I can't see that happening. If they let Lamar go and they don't just throw the bag at that guy, that just doesn't seem like the Baltimore thing to do, right? That just doesn't seem like what that franchise would do, and then having to start all over. I think he stays in Baltimore. Will I be surprised if somebody throws even more money at him and makes him think about leaving? No, I won't. A suit stream, man, that would be so weird. Do I think Cooper Kupp will be top 5 this year? Here, just a crazy stat. I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter or not. I tweeted this yesterday. Did you know that Cooper Kupp only played in like 8.25 games, like 8.5 games, and still finished as the wide receiver 24 overall on the season? That's crazy. That's nuts. Yeah, COVID's been around longer than Jake's pants. I don't wear pants. I just don't. I don't know what I'm going to do when I go to Illinois in February. I mean, I'm supposed to be speaking at this conference. I imagine like they expect me to be in nice clothes, but I'm going to be fully transparent. I'm thinking about just showing up in shorts and a t-shirt or a hoodie. And if they don't like it, you know what I mean? Like, that's just the way I am. I don't ever want to go pretend to be something that I'm not. I'm just not that type of guy. And if I'm going to be speaking to a bunch of young students about building a business in the digital space, I want to make sure that I relay the message that if you're building something that is your own, build it the way that you want to build it. Don't build it how others think that you should build it, right? Just because the corporate world says you should be wearing this doesn't mean you need to build a business that says that. So I'm not going to change who I am because we've built a business around. Like, that's just the way I think. So I don't want to go portray something that I'm not. I don't know. I'd probably freak Kyle out, right? If I showed up in shorts and a t-shirt, Kyle would probably faint on stage. Wear shorts and a suit top, Bruin. Don't give me any ideas. What sport are we looking forward to most after the NFL season? Dude, I don't follow baseball. I used to be a big NBA guy. I'm talking like I never missed a game. I was all about the NBA. But all the flopping and stuff, and the complaining about fouls, I just can't get into it anymore. And I haven't been able to for years. I mean, basketball was kind of like my thing, right? Growing up, like I played basketball, went to college for basketball. I turned down offers that I probably shouldn't have in high school. Big mistakes in my life because I thought that I was better than what I was. But yeah, I loved basketball, but I can't get into the game nowadays. What up, Mega Dr. Dre? Let's see here. No, wait. Show up in a suit at first and then rip it all off and go, this is who I am in shorts. A shorts guy through and through. Zachary, I mean, you guys are giving me some great ideas here. The Q says, I'm about to go to work and have my balls busted by 140 students who know I bleed Buffalo football. Just own it, Q. Just own it and be like, dude, they folded. They folded again. I hate it. I mean, there's a lot of talent on that team, but just own it. The more you own it, if you argue with it, you're going to kind of like egg them on, and then they're going to like continue to like press the damn button just to irritate you. Just own it from the beginning, and then maybe they'll be like, oh, he's no fun, and then they won't do it anymore. Not even hockey. Nick, I grew up in Arizona, right? The desert. I didn't even see ice until I was 26 years old. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, the Coyotes are there, But I mean, it was just not a thing growing up in the desert. I'll watch it for like a few minutes and I don't understand a damn thing that is going on. Like anything. I'll go to a hockey game and watch it, but to sit there on TV and watch it, probably not. Baseball, I mean, maybe that's part of it too, right? I grew up in Arizona, so I had the Diamondbacks, I had the Suns, I had the Coyotes. Like, there's always games to go to. Where I live now, the closest professional team, well, the Hurricanes are 45 minutes away. Everything else in Charlotte, which is 2.5 hours away or so. I don't get to go to the games as much as I used to, that's for sure. It's weird though with like the NBA, like I'll like see like the highlights or something, like I don't even know who the hell that guy is. Like I've never even heard of that name before. Yeah, when I was a kid though, man, I was all about basketball. Always watched football, always loved football, but basketball was what I consumed my time with. And I was, at the time, what I thought was really good. But I stopped growing. I was 6'4" as a freshman in high school. I thought that I was just going to be dominant, right? I thought I was going to be 6'8", 6'9". I could shoot like nobody's business. Won the state 3-point championship when I was a senior in high school. I mean, I could shoot. Listen, that's like riding a bike. I can still shoot. But, yeah, I realized I stopped growing after freshman year. So I stayed at 6'4", which means basically like a guard in basketball. And I knew that I did not have the athleticism, the speed, the ball handling to be a point guard, shooting guard, and I wasn't big enough to play anything else. So my days were numbered from the beginning. 90s basketball was the best. I can't really argue with that there. Michael Foss says, I'm 22 years old, so all I have known is the Patriots' dominance. Now I have to expect I am the next version of Cowboy fans. Hey, Bill O'Brien, right? Bill O'Brien's going back to New England. Going to New England, that should definitely help out Mac Jones. O'Brien leaving Alabama. Jeff Garcia becoming a member for 20 months. Jeff, I appreciate you guys keeping your memberships throughout the offseason. For sure. Jake, Chargers fan here. We are looking for OC. Who should we grab for Herbert? Honestly, I liked Brandon Staley from a head coaching perspective. But as this season went on, I don't feel like, it's like he peaked, right? Like he just became, like he didn't have any more tricks up his sleeve. So I don't even know if it's as much as just the OC, as much as it's not going to be affected by Brandon Staley as well, kind of just holding that offense back. And I don't understand why. Like I don't get why they don't. It's like having a Ferrari and like never taking it out of first gear, right? They're just boring at times, and I don't understand that. And some of that has to come from Staley, right? It has to. A lot of times the offensive coordinators will be blamed for something because the head coach is the one placing the blame because the head coach doesn't want to lose his job, right? So I have a feeling it's going to be some young guy that comes in there, tries to make a name for himself. I don't think it's going to be something that you don't want to retread, right? The NFL is a bunch of retread coaches. They just fail somewhere and go somewhere else and start over again until they fail again, and then it's a cycle. I would prefer to have somebody younger in there and try to energize that offense a little bit. Are you guys going to bring back the tailgate show? We did the tailgate show all year this year. Every Friday it came out. Every Friday. People would watch all of our videos Monday through Thursday, and there'd be like a few thousand that would watch that on Friday. But yeah, like I said, I really appreciate you guys who are all members that have stuck out here throughout the off season. That really helps us out. We're taking advantage of that, and we're really trying to plan some things this off season. I know Kyle's mentioned some meetups here in the past. I just mentioned Illinois. There's a fairly good chance for the 83 of you watching. There's a fairly good chance that the entire team is going to be in Kansas City for the draft in April. And that would kind of be another opportunity to meet up with some people and hang out as well. So I greatly appreciate those of you sticking out. A lot of people, I don't know, there's probably like 2,000 or 3,000 every year that when the season ends, they unsubscribe and then they come back at the start of the season. I mean, I don't really understand that. If you're not going to watch the content, just mute the notifications. I don't know why they leave and come back, but it is what it is. So those of you who continue to stick it out here all offseason, I greatly appreciate that for sure. Your kid hit a wall when he hit 9th grade. I mean, when it comes to growing, I stopped vertically. From that point on, it's only been horizontally. Jake, I'll need your help this year. Did horrible in my leagues, Lorenzo. We got you. We got you. Jordan era was the best, for sure. Blunt Poppy Supreme. 17 months, baby. Holding strong. I appreciate you, Blunt Poppy. Let's see. Who do you like as the next Panthers quarterback? Well, I'm not a Panthers fan. I live in Carolina. I'm not a Panthers fan. I'm still a Cardinals fan, but they're going to have to try to get somebody else. The current quarterback of the future is not going to be on their roster, right? It's just not going to be there, and it's not going to be a destination where a lot of people want to go, right? I mean, how many high-profile free agents or anything are you going to draw into Carolina? Like, that part, I don't know if I see it. I have a feeling it's probably going to be like a 2 to 3 year rebuilding process. Maybe they can luck out. Maybe they can move up in the draft a little bit and get, a quarterback of the future. But I have a hard time understanding the Panthers too. Like, they're weird as a franchise. Like, it's like they want to win, but they don't want to win, but they don't know how to win. For sure. Do I think that Flores will get one of the head coaching positions? I haven't heard his name out there very much for any of them. Do I think I think he deserves one. I love some Brian Flores, but looking at the openings that are out there, I don't know if any of them are the best situation for him for the most part. I don't see him in Denver. You know that Sean Payton more than likely is going to take one of them coming back after missing some time. So as of right now, I don't believe so, but I would kind of like to see it. I wonder who the Buccaneers are going to get for OC. Their offense really sucked this season. Bowles is the problem. I mean, Leftwich was the offensive coordinator when they went to the Super Bowl. Well, there wasn't a problem then with Bruce Arians as the head coach, right? Why all of a sudden now? It's because they're implementing Todd Bowles' schemes, and Todd Bowles has sucked everywhere he's gone. Arizona, the Jets. Now he takes over one of the best teams in the NFL and makes them suck too. Todd Bowles is the problem. I agree with you there, for sure. Ben needs to book a vacation soon, so let's get something going for sure. Ben, is there any chance you could make it to Kansas City or Illinois at all? We're trying to find some centralized places. The problem is we don't want to go book something if we don't know if it's something that other people can get to. Nashville has been discussed as like a centralized location. We've talked about, Chubb's going crazy. We've talked about maybe like somewhere in Texas, like Dallas or something like that, trying to find some place centralized where people from all around can kind of get to. Yeah, he grew like a weed, then bam. That's kind of what my son's doing right now too, Tim. So I don't really know what's going to happen with him. He's 6'5". He's taller than I am, and he's 15. So I'm wondering if he's going to get bigger or if he's going to hit the same wall I did. Matt Corral could get a shot, but is he a future franchise quarterback? Like, I don't think so. I think the only reason that we see Matt Corral is if they just sign another veteran this offseason and then Matt Corral gets an opportunity. But what kind of opportunity is he going to have, right? I mean, what's the offensive line going to look like? The running back, are we really going with Donta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard? We know DJ Moore isn't exactly happy there. After DJ Moore, what else do you really have? I mean, are we super excited about Tommy Tremble or Terrace Marshall? Not really. I mean, there's just not a whole lot for him to work with. It's kind of like if they throw him in there now, they're setting him up to fail. Do you think Baker's going to stay in LA? Probably, but he'll be the backup with Stafford coming back. Bold prediction on where Bijan lands, his role in production. Honestly, I haven't even really thought about it. Let me look here. I think a lot of people are getting overhyped on Bijan Robinson. Personally, I think that the hype on him is way too high. Without knowing the landing spot, is what I mean right now. I mean, if he gets somewhere, he's going to have a lead role, but where is that going to be? Okay, let's just run through the teams here real quick. Does he go to Buffalo? Probably not. Not going to be there at that point. The Dolphins. I wouldn't hate the Dolphins. I mean, but they're a team that's going to use multiple backs regardless. Does that change with Bijan? Maybe not. The Patriots? Probably not. That doesn't fit their MO. The Jets? I like me some Breece Hall, even though he's coming off the torn ACL. The Chiefs aren't going to do that again after the whole CEH disaster. Chargers have Eckler. The Raiders, do they bring back Josh Jacobs? Do they bring in somebody like a Bijan? I don't know. The Broncos, they have Javonte Williams. Bengals got Mixon. The Ravens, sounds like they really believe in J.K. Dobbins. The Steelers got Najee. The Browns got Chubb. Jags got ETN. Titans have Henry. Colts have Taylor. The Texans, please don't send him to the Texans. Like I hope that kid doesn't have to worry about that. The Eagles with Miles Sanders, I don't think they invest that high of a pick on an offensive player. The Cowboys, what's going on with Zeke? I mean, that would be a huge splash, I guess. The Giants got Saquon, who's a free agent. I kind of assume they bring him back. The Commanders got Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson. Could be an option. Would I love it? The Niners with McCaffrey. The Seahawks with Walker. The Rams, I don't want him going to the Rams either, because then you still got Cam Akers and that entire debacle. The Cardinals, he would be buried with the Cardinals. He would be hitting the backfield every time with Arizona. The Vikings got Cook. Lions got Swift and Williams. Packers got Jones and Dillon. Bears got Montgomery. Bucks, I mean, they like Rachaad White. I don't really know if he fits their play style. We don't even know what's happening with Tom Brady yet. The Panthers could be an option, but he'd be buried there. Saints with Kamara. Falcons, Algier. I mean, there's just not a lot of places that really make me like, oh, that would be that would be awesome. He would get the entire workload. He would have a great opportunity behind an offensive line. There's just not very many of those options. Like you said, the Falcons would be a good fit. I wouldn't mind it, but you have to think that they're still going to use Tyler Algier in that offense. Does Cordero Patterson come back? Does he take away some of the pass catching where there's just so many different questions? You know, I mean, there's nothing that just says, man, if he falls here, he's good. Let's see. What else do we say here? Any West Coast meetups? Jeff, I mean, we're not opposed to going anywhere. We just want to make sure we go somewhere where we can have people available to show up. Right? The last thing I would want to do, I mean, we've talked about a Vegas meetup too, is going somewhere and having like no one show up because it's just not feasible for a lot of people. So we're just trying to find those centralized locations. Maybe we need to put a poll out or something, or maybe just have you guys in a video comment, you know, where you would prefer to go. We thought about just opening it up for like test tickets and have people, quote unquote, purchase virtual free tickets to see where they would be more likely to travel to. He did, Tommy. A lot of people just didn't want to give Algier credit. Now, I will say this. He needed a lot more touches than maybe he should have needed in order to get there. But you saw towards the end of the season, it was like a different player, right? Now, and that's to be understood with him being so young, but it's like it clicked late in the season for him, and then they started committing volume to him, and that's when he really got better. So I'm hoping that going forward, that's kind of what we see there, especially with the quarterback change in Atlanta as well. It was a huge, huge help there with Desmond Ridder under center. Timo says he will travel 7 hours to Vegas. Ethan, the doc. The headliner doc is in the house. Ethan, is it lunchtime? Did you come in here for lunch, Ethan? Maybe he did. Says we have 40 likes on the video. That's it, 40 damn likes? 40? Let's talk some prize picks. That's going to be on Thursday. Thursday, I'll do the prize pick show that Kyle normally does. It's too early. There's really not a whole lot a lot of it's not even up there yet. More will be added, and we'll talk about those on Thursday during this same live stream. You told me to pick up Zach Moss over Jackson, and he didn't even drop 1 point. No. We didn't tell anybody to pick up Zach Moss. Leo out there so worried about 8 weeks ago because his team sucked so bad he needed Zach Moss to try to save him. Nice try, Leo. What's for lunch today, Doc? Let's see here. You'd smash that button multiple times if you could. New York, everyone goes to New York. Peter in the house. I wouldn't be opposed to it. You know what I mean? I'll go anywhere. What do you think of the Cards firing Kingsbury? I think it needed to happen, but I think it's more so because of the tension that was already in the locker room. You could tell like this season, him and Kyler were just not on the same page. So it's kind of like something that had to happen, right? Do I think that Kingsbury is a bad coach? I don't think he's great, but I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people lead him on to be. I think he just tried to get too cute these last couple years, and when you have guys like Andy Isabella and Rondell Moore, and like you don't utilize them properly almost the entire season, it's just one of those things that have a lot of people bring up questions, and now all of a sudden you're going to have to move on, right? I mean, it's another one of those destinations, though, that not a lot of people are going to want to go to because they're going to be trading DeAndre Hopkins. He's probably good as gone. J.J. Watt just retired. You really have no stable running back. You got Marquise Hollywood Brown on the outside. There's just not a lot to work with, right? Kyler's probably going to miss multiple weeks of the season in 23 because he tore his ACL so late in 22. That's just, yeah, it's just one of those situations. Is Leo really out there trying to flex on people who really don't care? Leo must be down so bad right now that he's just trying to find some recognition somewhere. So he's gone to a YouTube comment section. JT wasn't leading you to any victories. Let me tell you that. That right there shows. I know, right, Tim? Yeah, the tension was so there in the locker room. And it's one of those things, once it's there, it's really hard to get rid of. Go to Miami so everyone can wear shorts. I don't know if Miami is centralized enough for a lot of people to get to. I mean, we go to Florida quite a bit. I mean, we've been to Disney and stuff like that. We just went to Tampa Bay for a game this year. Like, it's a long way down. And then to think about how much longer it is to get down to Miami. He could be ready, Doc, but is he going to be 100%? Because what I worry about Kyler is one of the biggest parts of his game is his ability to be mobile behind a absolutely crap offensive line. And is that mobility going to be there, or is he just going to be hampered? Yes, I am. Dapper. Yes, I am. Everybody wave bye to Leo. I'm sending him to the abyss because he's got nothing better to do on a Tuesday. He is now into the abyss. He thinks that coming in here and calling me Baldy is going to piss me off. Dude, like, you are seriously so far off. Where in Illinois are you going to be at, Michael? I don't know it. I don't know the state of Illinois very well, but it's the University of Illinois, like Champaign. So, like, that's wherever that is at. I don't know for sure, but that part of Illinois. I guess I could Google it, right? I think it's the northern side, but Doc, help me out. Where's it at? Middle of nowhere is Champaign. Fun fact, Jake has hair. That's right. I got hair. Look how bad it is right there. Champaign-Urbana. Where is that? Is that northern Illinois, Ethan? Like, where am I going here? I don't even know where I'm going. Central Illinois. Okay. Yeah, the doc verified the hair. He's seen it firsthand. In fact, I think he's probably rubbed on it a couple times. I would say come to Maine, but ain't nobody live up here. Michael, you're in Maine? I didn't even know people lived in Maine. I thought it was just like a farce, right? Like, oh yeah, sure, people live up there, but you actually live in Maine? West of Indy. So, like, go to Indy, west into middle of nowhere, Illinois, and you're there. Okay, got it. Gotcha. That's where we're going to be. Come to New York City or D.C., East Coast, please. I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, people forget how old I am, Tim, right? I'm not a young guy. I'm not some dude out here living off his daddy's trust fund, making a YouTube channel, right? I'm old. I am weathered. I have worked for this. So, of course, the hair's gonna come and go. I'm going to be 42 this year. 42 years old this year. We ain't got to worry about tornadoes, poisonous animals, I guess, or perks. I mean, I guess you don't have snakes or nothing up there, Michael? You got no poisonous snakes? Sure you don't have, like, ginormous pythons or something you just don't know about? No, Zachary. I do not have a sugar daddy. But I'm also not living off of daddy's trust funds money either. Like, right, we've started from nothing and built our own. Yes, Scales. I'm going to be 42 this year, my friend. 42 in August. And it isn't old. I'm not saying it's old. But I mean, like, I'm not, 21 years old up here. Little garden snakes are the biggest we got up here. I like it. Maybe I should visit Maine. Is there anything do you guys have electricity there? Like, is there anything to do there? Or do you just, like, sit on your porch and, like, watch a moose walk by or something? Like, that's what I kind of picture Maine as being. Moose are way spookier than any snake, and I'll die on that hill. Darth, I don't like snakes. Like, I don't. Here's another fun fact about me. I was terrified schoolgirl scared of snakes. Any snake. I don't care what kind it was. And then I moved to North Carolina. And the first house we were looking at buying, they have crawl spaces out here, right? Never heard of a crawl space before in Arizona. No idea what that was. But here we did. So, like, during the inspection for the house, the guy's like, well, let me take you under the house and we can inspect under it. Cool. Let's go look at it. I've never been under a house before. Went under there, saw the floor joists and, the ductwork. And I'm like, all right, I understand. And he's like, oh, you got a fairly large snake skin over there. I left that dude under that house. And I'm like, I ain't buying this house. And the realtor was like, listen, if you don't want a house that probably has a snake under the crawl space, more than likely you're not going to want to live here. And so I had to learn really quick, like, I need to get over a little bit of my fear. So full disclosure, what I did for a long time is I would watch YouTube videos on snakes just so I could try to, like, understand them better in case I ever encountered one. I knew how to handle the situation. Do I love them? No, but I'm not as deathly terrified as I used to be. You have all 4 seasons in Reno? That's what I like about being out here. 4 seasons. The doc was in Maine last summer. Maine means bitchin' love the state. But what is there to do in Maine? I'm going to send some photos on Maine in Discord because I want the national park up there is beautiful. Maine has lobster, okay? Ben. Appreciate you jumping in here, Ben. I lived there as a kid 7 years, then moved to Rhode Island. Man, from Maine to Rhode Island, you guys need to... You didn't even experience the world until you left, probably. Yep, it's all slab in Arizona. Timo, that's all I knew growing up. For 30 years, I'd never seen a house with a crawl space. I always assumed like anything underneath was just a basement, right? I didn't realize that there was an actual section under a house. I mean, it was a legit question, Michael. Like, I didn't know, right? I mean, I just assume everyone up there just lives off the grid and cleans their body with, like, pine cones or something. I don't know. Oh, Mike. Mike does HVAC work. He's always down under houses. Mike, that is... I have a level of respect for you, Mike. I would struggle with that. Stephen King is in Maine. Okay. Acadia National Park is awesome. Also legit seafood. I don't eat seafood either. So I guess I am so far out of the Maine culture. I did flooring for many years, Timo. Flooring was rough work. I've never put down. I mean, I have like DIY stuff, but one of the first jobs I had, actually it was technically my third job. I worked at Home Depot when I was 24, somewhere around there, and I managed the flooring department. And part of doing that is I had to go to training for like weeks to learn how to put down all the different types of floors. That was not fun. Oh, there you go. Ambiguity. Mike, any tips on installing insulation under a house? Yes, hire someone else to do it. Ambiguity. Lots to do in Vegas, that's for sure. You don't like lobster? I don't like anything. If a cow drowned in a lake, I probably wouldn't eat it. Like, I just don't want anything that swam before. And it's probably, like I said, growing up in the desert, I didn't have fresh seafood very often, so it just like totally turned me off at a young age. And now every time I eat it, I feel like I'm just like chewing on a loogie in my mouth. You know what I mean? Favorite fantasy app? Personally, Sleeper takes the cake for me. If you're looking for like an all-around platform, that's probably the most popular right now. Attaboy, Timo. Watch Maine Cabin Masters. What is that? Do they tell you how to put up insulation? Pedro, just want to say thank you to you and everyone on this channel. Won my first fantasy football championship. Got second place in another league. That's what I'm talking about, Pedro. What's going on, Ray? Ray Foltz in the house, enjoying the lunchtime live. Yeah, I just figured I'd just hop on here for a little bit and hang out with y'all. I don't even know how long I've been on here. 51 minutes, is that what that says? Figure I'll hang out with you guys for about an hour or so. Added some main photos to the MVP channel in Discord. Headliners app coming soon. It's already like in the works, right? Like it's already got the plans, but I don't want to build some cheesy app. So trying to secure funding for said app is part of the reason I've spent so much time on phone calls the last few days talking to sponsors about certain things. So I would love for the draft guide to be all app based. And that way we can just push updates, super quick and everybody knows about things. If we have something, we can just drop it in. So it's definitely on the table, Robert. It is, for what we want it to be, pretty pricey. I hope you do this more often. Lorenzo, all year long. I don't know about the regular season, but all off season long, it's going to be a minimum of 2 live streams a week during the midday like this. One's supposed to be with me, one's supposed to be with Kyle. Kyle on vacation this week, so I'll do both Tuesday and Thursday. I'll be on vacation here pretty soon. Kyle will be doing the live streams for that week while I'm gone. So, but we're going to start doing these twice a week during the day. We'll probably actually start dropping some at different times of the day. Maybe do some at night too to allow some of the people in that, are working right now that can't join. Dr. Halvin, an app that might pull me away from Sleeper. Now, it wouldn't be an app where it's not going to be an app where we're going to have like people join in leagues and stuff like that. It's going to be for all of our, I can't give away too much. We have a lot of ideas for things that we want to do to get the community involved, but to do it through YouTube, to do it through our website is just kind of antiquated. Like, I want to give people the opportunity to like really be a part of the community, and that'll be so much easier with an app. So that's why we're doing some of the things we're trying to do. Big Jet fan. We keep getting dumped on. The biggest issue with the Jets this year, Peter, was not so much the Jets. Nobody and their mother, and I didn't just say the mother because we're talking about Zach Wilson for a second. Nobody wants to really acknowledge what I believe was the biggest issue with the Jets this year. It wasn't the play of Zach Wilson. It wasn't the quarterback play in general, right? It wasn't the offense in general. It was the offensive line from before the season even started just got absolutely decimated. I mean, all the great offensive linemen that they had, that they brought in, that they've drafted, everybody was hurt in New York. What do you expect to have happen? And then you lose Breece Hall to an injury. It's just like you're just piling things up. You had the drama with Elijah Moore at some point. There's a lot of talent there, and I think the Jets have enough talent to compete for a wild card spot each and every year. They just haven't figured out how to put the talent together yet, right? I like what the Jets have at the core. Do I love them wanting to have Mike White be the quarterback or something? Probably not. Like, Mike White, he's cool to come in there and really rejuvenate the franchise for a few weeks, but is he going to lead you 18 games to the playoffs? I don't know. Any way we can help, GoFundMe, live stream donations. Robert, what that really is right now, dude, is just, you're already a member. And I mentioned earlier, the memberships are what's really helping us get to that point. I mean, when we talk about app building, we're talking about 5 figures worth of money. And as a insight into our business here, I'll be completely upfront and honest with you guys. I'm still old school, right? So while a lot of people out there will maybe in a similar position will take this and buy a bunch of fancy things and just go out there and live lavishly and be all over IG taking selfies and all that kind of stuff, like that's not us here. Like I'm not trying to build a get rich quick platform. I'm trying to build something that can be sustainable for like ever and decades, right? Even if fantasy football were to tail off, we just take the community we have and we go with the flow, right? So that's what we're trying to build here. So when I look at things from a business perspective, I'm not looking at just the here and now, right? I'm looking 5 years down the road, and I'm not going to just take everything we have now and be like, yeah, we're just going to blow it, and if it happens, it works out great. No, when we do something, we know it's going to work, and that's why I am very diligent when it comes to the finances at the business, because I need to make sure that not only are Kyle and Taylor as full-time employees good to go, but that we work towards the fact of getting Ethan, who's a doctor, and I got to really come out of pocket for that one, and Mac, as close to full-time as possible as well. Like I'm trying to build up livelihoods for people. I'm trying to build up something long-standing, not just something that's going to last for 5, 6, 10 years and be done with, right? I look at it totally differently. So I try to go about things the right way and raise the money along the way. And when we get to that point, when we can build what we want to build, we go for it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, everybody come help us out, right? By watching this video, by becoming a member, by, live stream donations, by buying the draft guide, by if we have promo codes for them, by signing up for things like that's all what helps us get to that point. So you are doing your part right now. Where's Sean Payton going to coach? I don't know. I would, if I had to see him somewhere, I would like to see him in Denver, because I think Denver was an absolute crap fest this year. But we saw that after Nathaniel Hackett left, Russell turned the burner on, right? He wasn't cooking, but there's a lot of talent on that offense that I would like to see Sean Payton try to unlock. Ray Foltz, here's a couple bucks to help. Ray, I appreciate you. Beware, avoid Austin Eckler. He is going to regress. Instead of 18 TDs, he might score 16 and bust for you. Man, Ricky, you sound like another channel out there. J Noise, appreciate you. Do you just wake up this sexy or does it take effort? Literally, I just wake up like this. Like, I am what I am, right? This is just how I roll. But man, if I get closer, like, dude, I am getting old. There is a lot of gray. I mean, most of this gray is from Ethan. Most of it. Some's from Kyle. Taylor, not so much. Not any from Mac. But Kyle and Ethan, they're just turning me gray. Darth out there gifting another membership. Appreciate you right there. Land Destroy getting that membership. That's what I'm talking about. Beware. Avoid Austin Eckler. He is going to regress. Instead of 18 touchdowns, he might score 16 and bust for you. The expert in back of McDonald's told me. Ricky, you see all those people out there making bust videos already when they don't even know what rosters are going to look like? J Noise, 14 months in, and everyone needs to get some chub to support these guys. J Noise, I appreciate you. I think Sean Payton waits another year to coach again. Where do you think he goes then, Lorenzo? Did anybody watch Kyle's coaching video? He just broke all those opportunities down for a lot of people just the other day. I know not a lot of people watched it because it did get a whole lot of views, but he broke down all the first-year coaches and gave them grades, and then all the openings and potential guys to land there. I think he just dropped it yesterday's Monday. Yes, yesterday. It's the kids and fantasy football, Jake. That's kind of like my life, right? That's my life. What's my opinion on Niners versus Eagles? Okay, now the video's coming out tomorrow. Like, I'm going to have a video come out tomorrow evening with the matchup details. But I'm going with the Niners. Makes you gray and bald. It does, Timo. Dang. Like a fine wine, you keep getting better. I mean, I'm just trying to have fun, right? You only get one life to live. I'm trying to live it to the fullest and have fun along the way. Uh-oh, Michael said go Eagles. I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch. Honestly, I really think it's going to be a fun game to watch. Now, I love me some Joe Burr. I love the Bengals, watching them play. Love Jamar Chase. But I'm looking forward more to the Eagles 49ers game. Most obnoxious fan base. Honestly, I can say this, and it's not like a cop-out answer. Anytime I say negative about any fan or about any team, I get hate. Like, I'm sure because I just said the 49ers, there's Eagles fans out there pissed. I am at a disadvantage by putting my opinion out publicly that no matter what I say, I'm always wrong 50% of the time in somebody's eyes. So, who gave me the most hate? I got a ton of hate from Saints fans this offseason. A lot of hate from Saints fans. I'm talking about maybe the most I've ever had at one given point. Because that's when I came out and said that Alvin Kamara was somebody you needed to avoid. Michael Thomas wasn't even worth drafting. I got obliterated for that. I'm talking about Twitter DMs, video comments, didn't matter where it was. I was told I was stupid 5,500 times a day. We shall do a rankings discussion. Live chat. What kind of rankings we talking about? Ricky. Hey, here's a question for you. Who liked the short that I put out yesterday with like the random team generator, building bangers or nah? I think I want to start doing that. Those were fun. Here's a question for the general fantasy community. How can we take fantasy analysts seriously coming off the most unpredictable season ever? Great question. Kicking the door. Don't listen to people who give statements. You listen to people who supply information. It's your team. You make the decisions, right? A lot of people call themselves experts. Nothing we've ever said here. A lot of people go out there and say, you want to do this, or you should do this, or if you want to win, this is what you should do. And they're making bold statements, and they're only doing that for clickbait purposes. So the question here is, how do we take fantasy analysts serious? It's easy. You just follow the ones that supply the information that make it easier for you to make the decision. Like, that's all it is. That's all we do here is supply information. Sure, we may give our opinion, but we're not going to say, based off of numbers, we're not just coming out with like random opinions. We're going to say based off of the numbers, based off of the facts, based off the stats. It's how we've done everything from the beginning. So, later, Doc. Can other people in the chat agree with that? That we aren't out here really just giving opinions, right? We're supplying facts and numbers and trying to find ways to make those opinions correct, right? Because I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, this person's going to be this. Make sure you watch out for this person without having something to back it up with a reason, right? And that's why we use numbers and analytics a lot here. It's why we're going through all these stat videos right now. Who looks at catchable targets? Hardly anyone, right? Why? Why does nobody look at it? It's because people don't want to do the research to find them. So a lot of people will be like, oh, the target numbers are this. We're trying to broaden the spectrum. We're trying to make everybody better fantasy players. We're not trying to tell anybody what to do. I will not tell people what to do. It's not my team. I don't reach through the screen and I don't hit submit. You said, thank you, reasonable answer. Generally still depressed about the season, so apologies for the pessimism. It's cool. Like, I get it. But that's where it comes into like the beginning of the show, and I don't know if you were here kicking the door, where I feel like a lot of people are emotionally distraught over fantasy than maybe they used to be. And I think gambling has a lot to do with that, right? People putting in money, they're more emotional because they want to win that money. But I also do feel like a lot of people are relying on the winnings of fantasy football to meet some of their needs personally. And that's where we got to be careful, right? Because this is meant to be a game, and there is no channel, there is no website, there is no Twitter user, there is nothing that is going to be 100% right. 100%. Everybody is going out. We're all using the same information. So like that's where it just takes time to go through there and find out what information works best for you. I'm not going to sit here and be like, look this is where I've made it. You should listen to everything I say because I'm here and you're there. I've never said anything like that. Like, I'm just not, that's not how we do things here. The Kyle's not that way either. The Doc isn't that way. Taylor, Mac, we're not those type of people, right? We're just going to say, listen, look at these numbers. If these numbers historically continue to trend, this is where it's going to go. And because of doing it that way, it's led to a lot of the success that we've found. Cool. Does that mean that you can use the same formula every year? No, because the formula changes every single year. Let's see here. My bad, take it back. I'm always responsible for my own lineup every week, for sure. Only channel I've ran across that gives numbers. There's a few out there, Terry, that are okay. But there's a lot of people that, I mean, everybody knows. I mean, I know this goes without saying, but everybody says, oh, like, I want to be a YouTuber, or YouTubers make a ton of money. Does this company make a good amount of money for what we do? Yeah, we do, because this isn't like work, right? Like, this is just having fun. I'm literally working today, sitting here talking to you guys, right? For sure. But I think a lot of people do this to try to get rich quick. They try to do this to get all the signups that I can get, and get all the viewers, and get all the clicks, and get all the views that I can possibly get to get all this money right now. That's just not our mentality. We figure if we build it from the ground up, that stuff will just be sustainable for the long haul. Yeah, for sure. J-Noise, Timo, if you can't afford to lose the money that you're betting on anything, you don't bet it. And I live by the same rules, for sure. What's going on, Khalafa? Khalafa, good to see you in the chat, my friend. Hopefully you're out there feeling better. Appreciate you guys, and Headliner Nation can't wait for next season for sure. Chicks, not clicks, Kenny. What do you think the Lions need to get over the hump? Offensive line? Honestly, I think their offensive line is fairly good. I'm not overly worried about their offensive line. It's their defense that really needs to be well, it's their secondary that needs to be tightened up. Their run defense, middle of the season, lights out. And a lot of it has to do with the rookie Aiden Hutchinson too, right? So now he'll be going into his second year. Honestly, I don't think the Lions need to do too much, because if anything, they're already going to get an addition this offseason by Jameson Williams being a lot closer to 100%, right? We never expected him to be 100% this year. We never saw him in a full set of snaps. So now you take an offense that's scoring 30 points a game, and you add in Jameson Williams. I don't think they need to do a whole lot. I think they just need to continue to do what they're doing, and we saw that improvement throughout the season. Now they start week 1 in 2023, hopefully with that same type of chemistry and just go from week 1. I mean, I think the Lions are in line to make a run and be a playoff contender for a few years. Bucks says he's been lucky with Prize Picks, winning about 75% of his prop bets. Love to hear that. I had a lot of luck on Prize Picks this year too. I did pretty well on Prize Picks this year. Does it go rookie 1, 2, or rookie 2, 3? I don't know what you mean, ambiguity. You're due for a cold streak and you're okay with it? The cold streak is the playoffs for me, right? Because these games are just so unpredictable. And you get in positions where teams that normally kick field goals don't kick field goals because they go for it because there's more on the line. And, you know, teams are giving it everything they possibly have. And starters are out there for the max amount of snaps. The playoffs make it a lot more difficult for sure. Especially when you're trying to get those 4, 5, 6 picks, you know, to all hit at the same time. That's where it's difficult. What do you think the Packers are going to do with Aaron Rodgers or Aaron Jones? Rebuild or keep? At this point, they probably just keep. Because if I'm them, I keep. I don't understand the purpose in rebuilding quite yet. I mean, they're a team that was still on the verge of going to the playoffs, right? So, and that's without the Devontae Adams. Now you get Christian Watson in the second year. We saw him pop at times this year. Romeo Doubs coming into another year. What happens with Alan Lazard? Big Bob Tunyon wasn't really overly utilized. The running game carried them second half of the year. I mean, there's a few pieces here or there. They're still playoff contenders, so I don't see a rebuild yet. Like it's Aiden's second season? It is Aiden's first season, or does it vary how we say it? I mean, technically he's He's going into his second season. Yeah, there's other states being added all the time, Terry. There's a lot of red tape that goes into all that for sure. So Michael says they should rebuild as a Packer fan, but are you ready for 4 years of 6 wins, 5 wins? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to be able to handle. I don't know if I could handle that. I mean, that's coming from somebody who's a Cardinals fan, right? We've been rebuilding since Kurt Warner left. And at that time, Kurt Warner was like a retread quarterback that really a lot of people had already written off. I've reached out to Kurt Warner a few times. And other than him just responding to a couple of my tweets, I can't seem to get his attention. I've been trying to get Kurt Warner on this show. I loved Kurt Warner in Arizona. I was a huge Kurt Warner fan. He started up a YouTube channel. He wasn't getting any views. I commented on one of his posts on Twitter trying to help him out. He acknowledged it. And I never hear from him asking if he wants to come on here and talk football. Would coaches be fired in a rebuild? How does that go? Not always. Not always. What's up, Jeremy? I think the Vikings are in for a rude awakening if they get a new DC is all they needed. I mean, it's really their defense, right? If their defense could stop anybody, Minnesota would be pretty freaking good. Do I think the Cardinals trade Hopkins? Yes, I do. Let's see here. Jay Noyes, my company Gold Rush just moved into Ohio for sports betting and bars, restaurants, and general stores. Check it out when you get a chance. That's your company, Jay Noyes? Every Skins fan knows Kirk is a sham. Kirk isn't a sham. The thing with Kirk Cousins is people just put him higher than maybe he needs to be in like the tiered, level of quarterbacks. But for what Kirk Cousins is, he's not a sham. He is look what they did, right? I mean, you can't say that would you rather have Kirk Cousins or would you rather have, give me another quarterback. Derek Carr right now. Who would you rather have and why? It's just like when you get to like that tier of quarterback, they are who they are, right? They're not going to be the upper echelon. They're not going to be the elite. They're not going to totally tank your season. They're right there as a solid quarterback. Appreciate you, Trevor. Oh, I got you, Jay Noyce. Wentz. Yeah. Would you rather have Wentz? Where will Carr go? I don't know. But honestly, I am still a firm believer that Derek Carr was not the problem in Las Vegas. Carr is another guy, though, just like Kirk Cousins, right? He's not the upper elite. He's not going to kill you. He is just a solid quarterback. And I would say he's in the top 18 to 20 in the NFL at the position. I just don't know if what was going on with Las Vegas is totally to blame on Derek Carr. You too, BDE. Appreciate you. Awesome, Jason. That's what I'm talking about. You guys should do a poll to see where the most headliners are to target the location or near it in the biggest turnout. Orlando, Florida has my vote, Miami style. I mean, like I said, I really want to do that. I have a hard time trying to like wrap my brain around how to plan that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just a simple dude that talks football. I'm not like a planner, like an event planner. So like I suck at that. So like I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about that. Carr to the Jets. I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that whatsoever. A solid defense, a healthy offensive line, and then you have Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore. I don't hate that at all. Chicago, St. Louis, probably most centralized. Yeah, that's why we were kind of shooting for Kansas City too for the draft. It's kind of like middle of the country. Do you think the Browns gave up too much for Watson? Yes, I do. I was never on board with the Watson signing. Now, I do think he'll be better in 23 than he was in 22, obviously, because he'll have not been out of football for 2 years. But what has that done to that franchise and like handcuffed them for a long time? That could be a problem. Is Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, and Amari Cooper enough to win that division? I don't even know. I think it's not enough to win that division. You know what I mean? So that's a problem. I would see Lamar getting tagged before traded. I gotta say it now to document my receipt. Kirk Cousins will not be with the Vikings to next season start. Buck, why not? Tell me why, Buck. I see. We'll keep your receipt here, but I want to know what makes you say that, and what does the future hold if it's not Kirk Cousins? What team do you think will make the playoffs next season that didn't this year? I mean, honestly, I mentioned them earlier. It's not going to surprise me whatsoever if it's the Lions. The Lions, that just have a lot of young talent, and Jared Goff in a quarterback similar to the Kirk Cousins, similar to the Derek Carrs. He's not an elite tier quarterback, but he fits what they need, and he is a solid quarterback that can put points on the board. And that's what that team needs now with a lot of other young talent around it. They can add a few pieces on defense this year. I think the Lions have a good shot. Will Russell Wilson bounce back? If they get the right head coach there. We saw it at the end of the season, right? Once Nathaniel Hackett got the hell out the way, we started seeing Russell be able to do a little bit more in that offense, put up a little bit more numbers. So I'm hoping that trend late second half of the season is what we can kind of come to expect if they get a good offensive-minded head coach this offseason. Indianapolis would be good for an event. Been to Indianapolis a few times, like Indianapolis. BJN Red Baron, you guys do more best ball moving forward? Yes. I can't go into too much detail, but yes. You think the Bills will ever reach the Super Bowl? Ever? Yes. At some point. Will this current team reach the Super Bowl? I don't think so. I'm a little worried about Buffalo. The Diggs and Josh Allen spat on the sideline. The tweets by Stephon Diggs after the fact, it just leads to that locker room discomfort, right? And once that is there, that is hard to move past. It's just hard to get by. And so all of a sudden now, obviously Josh Allen's not going anywhere, right? Stephon Diggs probably isn't either. But he potentially could. And there's just, like, that team is just, I don't know what to say. There's so much talent, but they just can't put it together. Jake, will you buy a bigger Carolina helmet for next year's Let It Flow? The one you have now looks like it hurts. It does hurt me because it's a child size, but it's been like that from the beginning. Yeah, Jay Noise, we're in discussion for that, for the app. It's gonna be something that has a lot of moving parts and pieces in it, and is very expensive for what we want it to do. To build just an actual app, we could do a piece of cake, but for what we're looking for it to do, there's a little bit more that goes into it. Best ball ambiguity is you draft a team, and once the draft is over, you are done with it. The computer basically sets your lineup for you each and every week based off of the highest performing players at each position. It takes away the manager aspect all year long. A lot of people will do it kind of like a prop bet, right? You draft in the offseason, but don't start doing any of that yet. Just don't start doing any of that yet. But and then it automatically, so you had 3 quarterbacks on your roster. Whichever quarterback scored the highest points is the quarterback that you get the points for that week. And then the highest scoring team at the end is the winner. That's about as basic as I can say it. Timo, there will be something. I feel like Minnesota move right now on from Dalvin Cook. That would not surprise me. I don't know if it really helps them or not, per se, but he is a name that if he were to go somewhere else, it would not surprise me. Way too much hate in Minnesota right now for mediocre Cousins, way more than anyone knows nationally. But why do they hate him so much? Is it just because they don't realize how bad it would be maybe with somebody else? The Panthers helmet's been here for as long as I can remember. I think it's like year 4 or 5 for the helmet, Timo. Josh Allen, the next Phillip Rivers. The comeback kid. I got coffee, dude. I got coffee still. He may want to be traded. Okay, that's a different side of the story for sure. How would you draft number 1 running back next year, CMC or Eckler? Based off of right now, what we know right this second, it's probably CMC. But that could definitely change with what happens this offseason. What happens with, the offensive coordinator in LA. CMC is obviously scoring a ton of points, but we're starting to see a little bit more Elijah Mitchell here as well. What happens this offseason? There's just other options there. Right now, CMC, I would think, probably has a similar ceiling to Eckler, but the floor may be a little bit safer. An inflatable helmet, it may look silly, but it's never stopped you guys before. Yeah, we're all about being silly. Yep, BJN stated it there. But don't get into that yet. I got a surprise for y'all, okay? You just got to be patient with it. Joe Burrow is, incredible, and I feel like nobody talks about it. I love me some Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase is a modern-day Montana Rice. It's just... I don't think a lot of people realize how special this connection could be for the coming years. We could be watching history every time we watch those two. It's just fun to watch them. That's why I said earlier, I love watching those guys play. If Joe Burrow beats Patrick Mahomes again this weekend, there is no reason why Joe Burrow's name shouldn't be in the conversation each and every year of who's the best quarterback in football. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, he almost lost to Tyler Huntley 2 weeks ago. No. The entire team played the entire Bengals team played down to the level of their opponent. But overall, Joe Burrow is damn good. What up, Derek? Jay Noy's going back to work. Appreciate you, my friend. I'm going to get out of here in just a minute anyway. We are tired of being pretty good. Forget fantasy. He's not a winner. Okay. I mean, from a different perspective, I understand that, I guess. But is there an upgrade available, Buck? Who would the people say would be a better option as of right now? I'm just curious if there's names that people are throwing around that they think would be better. Agreed, Michael. Josh Allen just a little bit too wild. Is Jacobs going to be a legit first rounder? I anticipate some regression, but I don't know who the QB is. He's a free agent too, so he may not even be in Las Vegas anymore. So until we find that out, I couldn't take him anywhere near that early. Carr. Okay, so I could see that for sure. I mean, like I said, they're the same tier, but I mean, has Carr proven to be a winner too, though? You know what I mean? But it's I get it. I understand. Brady, okay, for sure. I don't know if Brady wants to go to Minnesota. Oh, you go Garoppolo? You would rather have Jimmy G over Kirk Cousins? I don't know if I'd want to have Jimmy G over Cousins. Carr is a winner. The Raiders aren't. Okay, that's for sure. I can get behind that. I hope. I mean, I would love to see. I would love to see Joe Burrow make a run here for a while. He has never had. Well, I mean, he's never had more than one elite weapon, right? I mean, he's had Darren Waller. The problem is they can't ever stay healthy in Las Vegas. I don't know if everybody's out partying too much. They just want to go. They're not spending enough time in the trainer's room or what, but everybody gets hurt in Las Vegas. Ever since he broke his leg, it limited his success. I think it did at first. I think he kind of got over it the last season or two. I appreciate you, Buck. Hey, and don't think that I'm arguing with you, Buck. It's just basic communication. I don't hear the Minnesota local news, so I was just wondering if people were calling for a certain person. I think it changed his mindset immediately, right? Because I mean, you could see him be a little bit timid coming back from that, but I haven't really seen that the past couple years. More than anything, I think he's more worried about, it's like he's playing uptight because he's worried that a mistake is going to cost him his job, and ultimately it basically did. All right, a few more minutes and I'm going to get out of here. I was only going to do an hour. It's been an hour and 25. I got to go make videos, y'all. I got to go record tomorrow's playoff videos. I got to record another short for today. I don't know if anybody answered my comment before. Did anybody watch my short from yesterday with a little random team generator? Full disclosure, that short went like crazy mini viral the second it was dropped, and then it just fell off a cliff. But I like doing fun things like that, and we're going to start doing a lot more of those every single day. I don't have to worry about too much editing. I just send it all to Taylor, and Taylor edits everything. What up, Dave? Have a good one. A lot of people rooting for the Bengals. There's a lot of Bengals fans out there. All right. Anything else before I get out of here? Any other conversations that need to be had? Anything? Nothing? Love catching the live stream, try to make them all. Hey, I appreciate the support there, Darth. We definitely appreciate the gifted members and stuff too. I know there's some thankful people in the community for that, for sure. Chocolate or vanilla? I think there's a limit to where you can have too much chocolate, but I like chocolate. Vanilla with some toppings on it, though, is a way to go. Yes, I am on Thursday, Dapper. James, have a good one, my friend. Yeah, for sure, Deshaun. But what's weird is, like, we've been dropping shorts every day this year so far, and, like, this was the first one that, like, skyrocketed to begin with, and then it just died. But, like, even right now, it's still getting 300. Oh, no, it's not. Where's it at? It was still getting 400 views an hour. You know what I mean? And, like, so it's just weird. It, like, goes up and down. It's just crazy. Jeremy, I appreciate you as well. Ambiguity, take it easy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here for the day, too. Like I said, I got to go make the playoff videos. I got to make a short. I got to get all of my information ready for Friday's video. We got some more stat videos coming up. Hopefully you guys enjoy those quick breakdowns of stats that nobody talks about. Coming up here pretty soon, we have target separation. We have runs over 20-plus yards, like broken tackles, stuff like that. So we're going to be talking about a lot of that stuff here in the coming weeks. So if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time to do it. But you all are pretty smart people out there. I'm pretty sure you're probably subscribed by now. But hey, I appreciate the support here in the offseason so much. Thank you. Love doing these little impromptu live streams. I know we don't publicize them very much, but just know that every Tuesday, every Thursday, myself or Kyle going to be here at some time, either midday or evening, just to hang out and talk with y'all. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here for the day and I gotta go do some work. All right. But hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one.